So if you watched Rachel Reeves' announcement yesterday, it does seem very doom and gloom. We're talking about tax rises, pension cuts, and frozen thresholds. But that's all on the surface, and if you look just beneath, it tells quite a different story, and one that actually plays out really well for investors. So first up is frozen income tax thresholds. So your personal allowance and your national insurance tax thresholds have all been frozen until 2030. Sounds really boring, but what is actually the impact of this? So as your wage rises with inflation, more of your income is going to slip into higher tax thresholds. This is called fiscal drag. You earn more, but you keep less. Classic. So this just reinforces what we always say here at MPP, is that your wage pays for today and your assets pay for the future. Property historically grows faster than both tax rises and inflation. So that is why people who own assets don't panic when a new budget comes out, because they're not relying on wage increases to bring them long-term wealth. What they are relying on is capital growth from the property appreciation and also rental income year on year growing. Next is that the cash ISA allowance is dropping from £20,000 all the way down to £12,000. So this seems like a massive signal from the government that is basically saying we are limiting the amount of money that you can save tax-free. So this means that it is even harder to save your way to safety, because the government is telling you that only £12,000 is tax-free. That money that is sitting in this cash ISA making 4 or 5% at best is not going to make you rich in 20 years' time, because that is going to get eroded due to inflation. It's going to get eroded to probably more tax hikes in the future. And it is just the least safe way to secure your financial future for you and your family. So what actually protects your financial future now? It's investing. It's making your money work harder for you than it would be sat in a bank. Now, minimum wage is going up above inflation. Now, this is amazing news for millions of workers in the UK. But let's be honest, if your wage goes up, so does your tax bill. And then inflation goes right up behind it. So on the surface, this looks like a really positive thing, okay? But it's actually only gone up by 4%, so it's about 50p per hour. Inflation as of October 2025 is sitting at 3.6%. So we're genuinely a couple of points off. So while that looks like a really big and good and positive increase, we're talking fractionally, because more of that is going to be lost to inflation and the cost of living. So even if you do earn more than minimum wage, you still can't rely on your salary to secure your financial future. True security comes from income that is earned when you are not working, and that is what you get when you own assets. Rental income does not take holidays. You need to be investing, and now. This one feels like a biggie. National insurance will now be charged on employer contributions that are over £2,000 per year. So the way that that's going to affect you is it probably means that your employer is going to contribute less towards your pension. So what can you do about that? You can invest your money in assets and take control of your own financial future and not rely on other people to secure it for you. Property historically has outperformed traditional pensions, and now, well, it's not even close. So I want you to pair this with the ever-rising retirement age as well, okay? And I want you to consider, how willing are you to put your retirement and your future in the hands of the government? And it is a ticking time bomb, right? So the sooner that you actually make the decision to secure your life now, the better it will be in 20 and 30 years' time. So this one is probably the most relevant to property investors. Income tax on rental income made from property is going to rise by 2% in April of 2027. Something tells me this is going to have a shuffle in the gallery. We're not tax advisors here at MPP. However, this seems to only be relevant to people that own property in a personal name. Now, this is going to be more relevant to investors that did buy sort of over 10, 15, 20 years ago, when the limited company structure didn't really exist or it wasn't widely used by property investors. The reason that it won't affect people that own property through a limited company structure is because they pay corporation tax rather than income tax on profits. Now, we're not financial advisors, but the point that I'm trying to make here is don't avoid investing, just learn how to do it efficiently. The benefit also of this is that a lot of these properties that are owned by landlords in their personal name from 20, 30 plus years ago are coming to the market, and we are seeing it here on the front lines. We're seeing investors who have 20, 30 properties under their belt and have owned them for a really long time look to sell them. Now, the other benefit of this is that they bought them when they were about £8,000 a piece. So we are getting them at very good prices in very good areas. So it's something to consider when you are still umming and ahhing about making a decision on investing right now. There is so much opportunity in the market. So the people who get educated and actually learn about all of these things and how they actually affect an investment and them personally are going to win in this environment. But the people who don't, they're just going to continue to get squeezed. So the mansion tax is something that the government have been talking about for a very long time, but they have held off until now because a lot of members of parliament will be affected directly by this surcharge. But let's be honest, this isn't going to affect a lot of people, and it isn't coming for your 2-bed buy-to-let in Leeds. So again, this isn't going to affect investors per se, unless you've got a really nice house somewhere, lucky you. But otherwise, don't get distracted by things that don't affect you. Now, here's something that you won't hear in the news. So budgets like this actually scare a lot of people off from investing. We see it every single time there's a budget announcement. We hear tax rise, pension cut, whatever it might be, and they freeze. And that means less competition for you. So when competition drops, opportunity opens up. Honestly, we see this every single time there's some economic noise about what's going on around the world, and we see people stop and sit on the sidelines. But the smart investors, they dive in and they grab the best deals in times of uncertainty. So if you were thinking about investing before the budget, this announcement is nothing catastrophic, and it could create a really good opportunity for you to get a great deal. And remember that the budget isn't the threat here. The real threat here is doing nothing at all. So when you see all of these changes together, what do you see? You see a very clear pattern from the government that is squeezing earners, it's squeezing savers, and it's squeezing pensions. But honestly, big picture wise, this announcement changes very little for us as investors. If you want to be safe, invest, build assets and long-term wealth. Take control of your income, don't rely on pensions or savings that can genuinely change overnight. Start building income streams that can grow and protect you long term. So whether you're yet to get started or you're already scaling your portfolio, property still remains one of the safest and most reliable asset classes in the world. So if you're still unsure and you need some help on how to structure things properly and build your asset base the right way, then drop us a message and we'll speak to you about how we can help.